What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Cherish Today, Season 2, Episode 6. So, yeah, Episode 5. Yeah, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So we start this episode off. We see that Sunday is struggling with her dad, trying to get him dressed. She's trying to get him out the house. Um, we also see why at the same time we see her boo thing with his daughter, getting her together. She's getting ready to go to watch a WNBA workout. She's been invited because she's one of the top players in the city to come and witness the workout. And of course, she's nervous. She's trying to find her lucky shoes. And he's telling her, look, you don't need to rely on any shoes or any superstition. You got to rely on your skill. Like, you are worthy. You're there. You were chosen because of your skill and because of who you are. And you deserve to be in that space. Like, you don't need any special shoes to be there. And so she's like, okay, cool, all right, Dad, kind of thing. But then we see Sunday struggling with her father. He can't find his pants, even after she's told him 3 times where his pants are. So again, we are seeing the constant progression of his his health, mental health, I guess. His memory and things like that. She gets a phone call from her sous chef at her restaurant and basically saying, listen, I'm leaving, She doesn't give her a date, but you definitely get the impression that it's soon. And she says, look, I want to stop and smell the roses. I want to enjoy my child while he's young. I can't run this restaurant the way you can run the restaurant. And so she's like, listen, I know I haven't been around a lot lately, but I can get some more help for you. Like, if that's what you need, like, I can get what you need to help you. And she was like, no, that's not it. Like, I really don't want to leave you in a bad spot and leave you in the lurch. But at the end of the day, I can't. And she was like, well, ultimately I understand. Like, I understand and I respect it. And that's kind of where they leave the conversation. Old boy is at the workout with his daughter, and she's having the time of her life, and he ends up calling Sunday just to kind of check in or whatever, and she lets him know that it's been a bad day and she's been really struggling. And so he talks to her and finds out what's going on, and you find out that she's been taking him to the doctor and that nothing is coming back. Like, they've done MRI and he has to get some more tests to do more studies on the I think a EEG. Anyway, to do more work on the brain, but they don't have a definitive diagnosis as of yet. And of course, it's frustrating for her because she's like, look, I got this bad news today from my sous chef, which basically revs up her clock. Like, she doesn't have the luxury of taking her time. She's got to make some decisions. Like, look, I got to get back to my real life. Like, this has been great, and I'm reconnected with you and my dad and all of that. But like, that kind of hit home. Like, I gotta get back. And so while she's there, and Annalise invites her, says, well, what are y'all doing tonight? I'm singing tonight. Why don't y'all come hear me sing? And she was like, well, I would love to. And he's like, well, no, we kind of already have plans. Now, see, here's the lesson, ladies. If a man say he done already took care of date night, let him take care of date night, okay? He said, I have something special planned. I have a surprise. But you done sit there and let that woman who your boyfriend's wife, soon to be ex-wife, you done sit there and let her talk you into going to hear her sing. And I was like, I don't know. I still don't know if I'm 100% sure about her. But if the man say he got date night covered, let him cover date night. But anyway, they're going to go hear her sing and, all that good stuff. Now, while that's going on, Sunday takes her dad to go hang out with some of his. Now, I feel like they were trying to insinuate that these guys were his frat brothers and that maybe they were even Qs, because she took him down to the cigar bar, to like a cigar lounge. And she told him, Daddy, you remember, you love cigars, you smoke cigars. And of course he didn't remember. He walks in the room and the guys are like barking at him. So I was like, okay, are they supposed to be Qs? Like, they don't do anything else to kind of throw off that they might be Qs. One of the guys had on a purple shirt. But either way, these are some of his friends. One is, I think both of them are fellow judges. Um, and the first one, he doesn't remember at all. The second guy, I think he sort of recognizes, but of course he looks at Sunday like, damn, your dad don't even know who I am. And Sunday is calling him uncle. So that lets you know how close they must have been that Sunday is calling this man uncle. But you know, they have a good time, and he's still sitting there confused until they start talking about cigars. And they mentioned the older gentleman, the older judge that introduced them to cigars, like the first time they had a cigar. And her dad remembered, and he went on to tell this story about, oh my goodness, yeah, like the first time, and he was green, he didn't know what to do, and I had done my research, and I knew how to light a cigar, and I knew how to cut a cigar, and I knew all the lingo because I didn't want to be embarrassed. And they laughed about it, and he was sort of back in the moment. Like that triggered enough of his memory that they were back in the moment. So while they're there, you know, again, they're talking and reminiscing, and it's a great time, and Sunday's happy. Well, we find boyfriend ends up showing up with some flowers, you know, and that's all cute. Oh no, rewind. I missed a whole lot. Back at the gym, we have another Queen Sugar crossover, because who is the coach of this WNBA team? Davis, right? So we found out that Davis and him, they knew each other, you know, back in their basketball days, back in playing in the league, and you know, they bond over reminiscing over the good old days and times in the league. And Davis reminds him, look, you know, I screwed it up with my ex-wife, but Charlie took me back, and now, you know, I'm not gonna mess it up again, like, you know. And he tells her, well, you know, I'm hooked back up with my ex-girlfriend from high school. And he was like, yeah, well, you know, you got a second chance, sometimes it's sweeter the second time around. And then they talk about his daughter, and I feel like, again, we're throwing some black girl magic in there, because he's talking about how he's really loving coaching the WNBA, and how even though, you know, the game is not, you know, as fast as the regular game, the girls have the fundamentals, and they're actually better players, and they're better, they have their skills are better, and how he loves coaching, and this has been a great opportunity for him. And so I feel like they kind of low-key are bigging up the WNBA, but I'm here for it. But you definitely get that moment of, like I said, the crossover, and them really giving us this whole love and second chance at love theme and everything like that. Then we see him head on down to the cigar bar with the flowers and stuff like that. So while they're there, of course, you know, they recognize him. You know, he's the basketball star. And one of the guys even said, oh, Ellis Moran, we expected big things from you. And Sunday was like, what? Like, damn, like, why would you say that? Like, that was disrespectful. You know, and he was like, well, I mean, you know, that's how I feel. You know. But they, you know, they sit down, and Ellis, you know, they offer him a cigar, and he was like, nah, I never had a cigar. So the father, again, he's in his element. He's cutting a cigar for him, and he's telling a story about, I feel like they forced this one, y'all. They were telling a story about how slavery was about breaking down black love, and I was like, what? Like, I understood the story he was telling, but I feel like they were just forcing that in there to, once again, just talk about black love and slavery. And because I thought he was going to tell the story about the tobacco plant and that connection to slavery, but he starts talking about black love. I don't know. But then, of course, all good things must come to an end. The dad forgets that his best friend's wife died, and he, you know, talks to Sunday. He was like, listen, I didn't realize it was this bad. Like, he spoke at my wife's funeral. Like, for him to say he's sorry to hear about my wife dying, and he spoke at her funeral. And she said, yeah, she said, you know, that's the reason why we're here now. You know, there's an open house. And he was like, wait a minute, is that the best idea for you to sell the house? You know, like, while he's going through all of this? He said, look, I'm not, you know, I know you're a good daughter, and I know you're doing right by your dad the best way you know how, but I'm just wondering if that's the best decision with everything else going on. And she was like, look, I can't, like, he won't let somebody come in and be a caretaker, and I can't live here. Like, I have a whole business and life in Atlanta. Like, I can't. I'm doing the best I can. And he was like, I get it. But I just don't know if I don't know if that's the best idea, you know. So they end up leaving, but he tells her, he said, listen, but you a good daughter, and I know that I know you're doing whatever you got to do, you know, for your dad, you know. So then they leave and they go back to the house, and the cousin is there, and the cousin is pissed because the cousin was like, so you just gonna have a whole open house, and you just got all these white folk coming up in and out the house, and she was like, look, you know I need to sell the house, like, and she was like, so you gonna sell the house from up under your daddy? And she was like, he knows the house is for sale, like that's not a secret, and he gave me power of attorney. He knows that he can't handle things, and the cousin is just not here for it. The cousin is like, look, this isn't the best decision, right? And again, I see both sides of that coin. Like, you know, at some point in the circle of life, at a certain point, we become our parents. You know, if our parents live long enough, we will become our parents' caretakers, right? And these are the realities that we have to deal with, especially if you no longer live in the same area as your parents. Like, either they're gonna have to come to you or you're gonna have to come to them. But if you've built a life, that's a hard conversation. Those are some hard decisions, especially if you're an only child. There are no other siblings. There's nobody else to lean on, you know. And I have a few friends that are going through this, and, you know, God forbid when it's my turn, right? So it's date night, and Sunday looks beautiful. Like, that dress she has on is gorgeous. That fuchsia pink, it is absolutely gorgeous. So they head out to the club, honey. And the Billy, I think his name, Anastasia's boyfriend, he seemed extra nervous, right? He's so happy that they're there. He put them in the best seat in the house, and he's so nervous that they're there. And Davis ends up showing up because Ellis invited Davis to come through, so Davis ends up showing up. And Sunday gets up to go to the bathroom, and Billy ends up talking to Ellis, and he's like, man, you know, she's a really good, like, you know, she seems like a really nice lady or whatever. He was like, but you're a better one than me. Like, I don't know if I'd be cool with my wife not being up under me all the time. Like, he was like, Ann can't go nowhere without me. Like, I need her in my bed every night. He was like, you doing this long distance thing, like you're a better one than me. And you could see the look on his face, like, yeah, okay, like, thank you. So then he was like, yeah, because, you know, she got offered, you know, a position up in New York. And I told her, you ain't going without me. You ain't going without me. And so you could see that bothered him, because I don't think he knew that there was a possibility that his daughters were getting ready to move away from him and go all the way to New York from, New Orleans. So when she comes back from the bathroom, he sort of asks her without asking her directly. So, you know, once you get everything settled and you take your dad back to Atlanta, like, how often you think you going to get back here? And she was like, so is that your not so subtle way of asking me, you know, like, what about us? And he was like, yeah. But at that moment, Annalise comes out on stage. She sings. She looks gorgeous. I don't know if that's her real voice or not, but she sounded beautiful. I ain't particularly care for the song she was singing, but her voice was beautiful. And then when she gets done singing, baby Billy get up on that stage and he proposes. And the look on Ellis's face, he is disturbed by it, okay? He is upset and he is disturbed by it. And Sunday notices, Sunday is peeping the fact that, you know, her man is kind of side-eyeing this whole situation, and he looks really upset. And so when they got ready to leave, because then they had to leave to go to their the surprise he had planned for them all along. And she was like, are you still in love with her? Like, what is going on? Like, I saw the way you were looking. And he was like, no, like, it just took me by surprise. I just wasn't expecting it. But like, no, like, child, we have already buried that bridge. We're good. So he ends up taking her on the date. And where he took her was to their high school, where he had the gym set up like homecoming. He was like, you know, I know that it's my fault that you never made it to homecoming. You never got a chance to be the homecoming queen. So he got her a crown. He had a table set up. He had some dude playing the guitar, serenading them. And she was like, oh my gosh, like, you thought of everything. This is so sweet. This is so great. And he was like, yeah, but what's going on? Like, you still don't seem like you kind of with me. And she was like, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm just still, you know, kind of like, I think that might be when she said, are you still in love with her? And he was like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you there when I'm trying to be here? Like, be in this moment. Stop worrying about that. And she was like, well, you know, you can't really fix the present by revisiting the past. And he told her, he said, listen, you so worried about how I'm looking at my ex-wife. Have you ever stopped to think about how I'm looking at you? Like, you are the person I want to be with. You are the person that I have my eyes focused on and my future looking towards. And that is what I want, okay? And that's where the episode ends. So that was a good episode. We have 2 more episodes left. I know I'm late, but I'm going to try to knock them out this weekend, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.